Hey there, everyone. I hope you're having a good day in your little corner of the world. Been having an okay kind of day. It's been quite a heavy day today. There are a lot of things going on in the news that are quite worrisome, to be honest. A lot of things that are happening in this country that are pretty worrisome, and everything seems so uncertain. And it seems to me that we are moving into a more fascist, authoritarian country. And it's really, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess it doesn't take you by surprise, and it shouldn't take anybody by surprise, because as Maya Angelou once said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them, right? And of course, the Orange Man said who he was and what he wanted to do many times during his campaign, right? And so it should come as no surprise that things are the way that they are right now, because he said that they would be like that, right? However, I guess as humans, we have some kind of blind optimism sometimes. We apply blind optimism into uncertain situations. I know a lot of people believed that it was impossible for this country to move into a fascist kind of government, or it was impossible for a country such as the US to move into some kind of authoritarian regime because of our history and of the way the Constitution protects our freedoms, or quote unquote protects our freedoms, right? But of course that's not the case. Of course, the Constitution is just a piece of paper that was written by some old white men 230, 240, 250 years ago, around 250 years ago, right? And it should come as no surprise that when there is a person that is power hungry, that they will overstep their boundaries and not respect what's on that piece of paper that has been respected by previous politicians, or maybe it hasn't been respected to the fullest extent, but it's been respected in the sense that people would hold these politicians accountable. Or at least try to. Nowadays, it seems like anybody that is trying to hold the commander-in-chief accountable, or any person that has a platform in the government accountable, that they will be persecuted and arrested, or they would lose their jobs. There's a possibility for that. Any judges that have been trying to do their job and hold unjust behaviors and irrational things that are happening, these judges have been trying to hold politicians accountable, but of course they have been punished for doing that. And this is the beginning of fascism, ladies and gentlemen. I never thought that I would be experiencing this, to be honest. But I truly sympathize with all countries that are currently under dictatorships, because it takes you by surprise. It really does. Because even someone like the Orange Man, a lot of people did not believe that he would do many of the things that he has done right now. A lot of people did not believe that that was possible. A lot of people thought that they were just trying to target him, and that he was going to look after fellow Americans, but of course that's not the case. No politician, no matter what political party they belong to, it's very rare if they really care about you. And we see that with members of Congress in the Democratic Party. What are they doing? They're not doing anything. Diddly squat. They're not doing a thing about trying to impeach, or, I don't know, releasing an investigation or something, right? So we know that the members of Congress, the people that are supposed to serve us, right? That is their job. That is the reason why they were elected. They are not doing anything, and they're just staying quiet. It doesn't matter what political party they belong to. They're just letting things happen, right? And of course, things are turning out the way that they are because somebody's having a bit of a power trip. And I guess it's quite frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I said ladies and gentlemen. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for sure. So, I guess I don't have much to say in this video. Just recording my thoughts of the day. The government doesn't really serve the people. Surprise, surprise. And how could the government, a government that started by enslaving people, because the truth of the matter is that the framers of the Constitution, the founding fathers, they were all aristocrats. And some of them were even slaveholders, right? George Washington, famous slaveholder. Thomas Jefferson, famous slaveholder, right? And everyone that was involved in the creation of the Constitution, they were all aristocrats. They all had property. And so when they wrote in the Constitution, "We the people," they didn't mean we the people as in everybody that lives and resides in this land. They didn't mean Native Americans. Of course they did not mean Native Americans. When they said "we the people," they weren't talking about slaves. They weren't talking about women. They weren't talking about non-property owning men. When the framers of the Constitution wrote down "we the people," they meant aristocrats, property owning men, and slaveholders. Of course, as time has gone by, 250 years later, that definition of we the people has expanded. It's expanded to make it more inclusive of what we the people actually means. We the people includes, or is supposed to include, Native Americans. We the people is supposed to include African Americans. We the people is supposed to include immigrants. We the people is supposed to include any person of any religion, of any culture. And that's what makes this country so beautiful. The fact that it is a mosaic of different cultures and different thoughts and different backgrounds and different ideas. That's what makes it so rich. The fact that this country is not sterilized. It's not bland. It's not one culture. It's a multitude of blended cultures. Wherever you go, I mean, if you go to Nevada, Nevada is a completely different country than Oregon, right? Oregon is like a completely, these are states, of course, but it feels sometimes when you cross from state to state, it feels like you're going to a different country. It really does. The people are just so different. And even within states, going from city to city, sometimes within 20 miles, it feels like you're in a completely different country because people are so different. And that's the beauty of it, that we're not sterilized. We're not bland. We're not just a robotic society that believes one thing. We, in my opinion, and I'm not patriotic by any means, but we are a nation of greatness. And by greatness, I mean this land is great because of its diversity. And not just diversity in people, in different thoughts, in different ideas, in different backgrounds, in different cultures, but also in different landscapes. Deserts, forests, oceans, lakes, rivers, volcanoes, islands, Everglades, you name it. Geysers, right? We have it all. We really do. I love this country. I have nothing against the US. I really don't. I hate the government, and I always have. But I love this country. I think all the outdoorsy people and anybody in the US that has been to the outdoors and loves being in the outdoors will understand what I'm going to say in a moment. When I go out in nature, when I go to the mountains, or I go to the desert, or I go to the ocean, to an isolated place in the woods or something, I don't know, there is this very powerful spirit that lives in this land. There's a very powerful, and yes, I'm going to sound woo-woo, and this is a subjective experience. Maybe some of you have never experienced that, and that's fine. But this is how I've been able to experience this land. There's a very powerful, very raw, and I'm going to use the word energy for lack of a better term, energy or vortex that exists on this land. It's very loving and warm, but at the same time, it's also very unforgiving and harsh, right? It's this dichotomy that exists. in this land, but I still love it. I still love this land. And I understand why my ancestors loved this land. Because there's just this powerful spirit, and spirit, for lack of a better term, I don't want to sound woo-woo, but of course I'm going to incorporate my beliefs here, but there's this very powerful spirit that lives on this land. It can be unforgiving, it can be harsh, but it's still so loving and embracing and warm. I love this land. I really do. And for this land, you just want to protect it. When I go to the mountains or I go to the desert, I just want to protect it. I want to protect my divine mother, this nature, that is me. I want to protect it and keep it safe, because it also protects me and keeps me safe and looks after me. Unfortunately, the government that runs this land is very irresponsible, and it has always been that way. This is not new, because people are greedy, of course. I guess there are some people that don't care about the outdoors, and that's fine, but they don't see how this Pachamama gives us life. And I don't want to sound woo-woo, I don't want to sound hippie here, I don't want to sound, too off my rocker, but it's a beautiful land. And I love it here, but I'm so sad of what's going on in this country, of how it's being managed, of how this land is being, I'm going to use the word, I'm going to be censored, but I don't care, raped, out of its resources, out of its energy, out of its spirit. And that sucks, because we need her. She is the mother that breastfeeds us with everything we need. I love this land. I really do. I love this land. It's just so powerful. And I encourage anybody that lives here in this land called the US to go out and explore it. Go out and see what you find. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Because in the end, we're not hurting this mother. We're not hurting our mother. We're not hurting our motherland. We're hurting ourselves. We're just accelerating our demise. That's what we're doing. But anyway, I guess we'll see what happens. Stay safe out there. I hope you have a wonderful life, and I hope you get to experience the love of this land. And anybody not living in the US, I'm sure that whatever land you live in, it also has a great energy, and it also has a great spirit residing there. Because of course, it's not just exclusive to the land of the United States, it's everywhere, right? Just go out and explore your land, your motherland, the motherland that breastfeeds you, gives you everything you need. Okay? And protect it. Keep it safe. Fight for it. Not for the government. Fight for the land. Fight for your mother. Okay? Wish you all the best. Peace and love. Bye.